Good evening, everyone. Who's with us? Who's joining us? Oh, Dr. Lay's with us. Who else with us? Hello. Jeffrey with us. I see that Jeffrey joining us. Baruch Hashem. We'll give another few more minutes and then Dr. Lay is going to give us the update in Eretz Israel. Dr. Lez, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, Rav. Baruch Hashem, it was my bar mitzvah portion, and yeah.
Mazal tov, Mazal tov. That means that's your birthday. B'sha'at tova, please God, many more.
Thanks. Baruch Hashem, thank you, Rav. So, Rav, unbelievably, I was actually a little bit late coming home because the last patient, the girl just came into the clinic and she said, please, can somebody see her? I had seen her many, many years ago. And she actually, she volunteered to be on the northern border. She was actually in Vienna on the over Simchas Torah, and she got a call. She saw it was an important call, so she left Vienna. She said, "We need you back." She went to Istanbul, and she got a flight back to Israel, and she's been on the northern border since the 8th, since the outbreak after the massacre. And what she does is that she helps with the evacuation of civilians near the Lebanese border. And she said she's been hearing the rockets firing, and she's had to go, and she does it voluntary, although she's an officer. She has to go to the families of those that have been injured or those, unfortunately, have been killed. And she said that's not her job, but there's such a lack of personnel that that's what she does. And she was apologetic that she came in late, and I was like in awe of her. I said, you're such a hero. It's such an honor to treat you, and it really was. And she was given off because she had pain in her gums, so they gave off for the first time. Her parents saw her in the last 3 weeks, and such a zchut, she's going back tomorrow. And she said, I told her that there's such support from the South African jury and from jury all over the world. And she said, you have no idea what that means to the morale of the IDF, to the morale of people in the north and in the south, knowing that Yidden all over the world are supporting. It means so much, and it's so important. And Rav, I just want to mention, because I think it's unbelievable what the South African Jewish community has done, what they did at Kosher World and what they did on Nelson Mandela Bridge, and how they're standing up to this terrible government and this terrible opposition, the ANC and the EFF and all these haters of Israel. But when people ask, look what Israel's doing with the bombardment and look how many children, and you think to yourself, they found out now from a Hamas terrorist who they caught, and he's actually admitted that in the main hospital in Gaza, Al-Shifa, that underneath, that is the headquarters of Hamas. And it's very interesting. They say we don't have any oil. We need oil for the hospitals. Otherwise, the ventilators won't work and the dialysis won't work. But if you think about it, how come they've got enough oil to fire rockets? And a rocket just over Shabbat actually fell in Kiryat Ono. And I've got an aunt. It was literally meters away from her home in Kiryat Ono. I phoned her. She said they were in the bomb shelter. They heard the rocket. It was destroyed a whole part of the area in Kiryat Ono, where my aunt lives, and there's enough fuel to fire these rockets, but there's not enough fuel to give to the hospitals to save, the children there. So it's just unbelievable. And now that they put their headquarters underneath Al-Shifa Hospital, it puts Israel in a very, very difficult situation, because how on earth are they going to destroy the headquarters when it's under this hospital? And the world doesn't seem to care. They really don't seem to care at all. No one said, wow, it's outrageous. How can you use civilians as human shields? Also, which I think is personally incredibly outrageous, is that we have still the hostages that are children, babies, Holocaust survivors, grandparents. Where's the Red Cross? Where's the human rights? Where are all these left-wing so-called human rights activists? They don't really care because they're Jewish hostages. And there's some foreign hostages as well. But they don't really care because the majority are Jewish. It's just unbelievable. Where is the outcry from the UN? Where's the outcry from all these human rights organizations, they are very, very silent with regard to the Israeli hostages. We don't hear the Red Cross gaining access. We don't hear them condemning. It's just unbelievable. So, Rav, and I think this is the main thing that people here in Israel, we really realize when we say never again, it's never again. It's not, we really have to defend ourselves. If we don't defend ourselves, and if there's a ceasefire, who knows what's going to happen in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years? So, Bezrat Hashem, we know that Hashem is behind us, and we have to. There's a saying now, "Anachnu nenatzach," we will succeed, and together, as united, Bezrat Hashem, we will succeed.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Les Shikoah, always for the good news, for the upbringing, giving us always the up news, keeping us updated. Okay, Rabotai, tonight we're going to speak, the subject of the shiur going to be how to weaken the strength, the power of Ishmael. And then I'm going to move on to a different subject that I always speak about, unity. And then we're going to speak about the subject that can help us also to understand how to weaken Amalek. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach, Hashem alenu berachamav yarviach. I would like just first of all to welcome Ariel. Ariel, thank you for joining us for the first time. Shikoah. I would like to dedicate the shiur in a soul of Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, Mordechai ben Rahma, Rav Avraham Chaim ben Eliezer Yaakov, Tamar bat Zehava, Yaakov Salomon ben Farha, Dvora Ruth bat Beila, Malka Regina bat Joya, Keti Gurgia bat Farha. Nishmatam tiye tzrura b'tzur Chaim. Also, I would like to dedicate the shiur in health of Menashe Naji ben Farha, ליאורה בת מרים, הרב משה בן בהי בתיה, הרב משה בן דבורה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, הרב אברהם בן מרינה, דבורה בת אסתר, שיינה קיילה בת חנה, מרדכי דוד בן לאה, חיים נחום בן פסע רזה, ניצן בן ורד, אהובה קדן בת טלי אסתר, ברוך בן שרה חיינה, שמואל בן מיכל, and Tzvi ben Hava, Moshe Avram ben Henariva, Haya Tzipora bat Rachel, Ayala Eden bat Rivka, Tova Liba bat Rachel, Vesara bat Pnina, Yeshua Haim ben Haya, Leah bat Rachel, Vehana Masha Rivka bat Zelda. Okay, good evening everyone. As you all know, and I don't have to tell all of you, because we're all Jewish, we all know that at the moment we are all in a difficult situation. We all actually shocked what's happened in Simchat Torah to the Jewish people. What's happened about the massacre, the brutalizing, the unhuman and cruelty against humanity by a group of people that call themselves Hamas or Islamic Jihad, or some people call them unhuman. We have to understand that what exactly happened there. And Be'ezrat Hashem, tonight, I'm going to try to explain what was the idea behind it and how we as Jews that not in the front line, how we can weaken the strength, how we can weaken and what we can do to destroy that nation. And Be'ezrat Hashem, I don't want to speak about the horrific things that they done. You all hear it in the media. I try to avoid watching any one of those clips on social media. I try to avoid it. And I will explain soon how we can actually destroy that Amalek of today. Because we brought that Amalek of today, said the Shalah Kadosh, and it's brought by the Gaon Mivilna, who's Amalek. In every generation, we say, שבכל דור ודור קמים עלינו בכלותנו. In every generation, there is a nation that tries to annihilate us. And Be'ezrat Hashem, tonight, we're going to try to understand how we're going to win them, how we're going to annihilate them. So, the subject of the shiur, how to weaken Ishmael. And why I say Ishmael, Rabotai? We know that the Muslim, they are our cousin that come, and they actually, the son, Ishmael was the son of Abraham Avinu, as we learn in Parashat Lech Lecha on Shabbos that we read. We know that Ishmael was the son of Agar and Abraham, and he's our cousin. Abraham Avinu had another son that's called Yitzhak Avinu from Sarah Imen. What does Ishmael mean? The word Ishmael. If you take the word Ishmael and you split it to two, you split the word to two, you get the word Ishma, that means listen. El, Ishma, El. The Almighty will listen. And the Mefarshim say that before the Mashiach come, it's mentioned in the Zohar HaKadosh, that Ishmael יעשה צרות גדולות לישראל. That means the nation that called Ishmael, that's the Muslim nation, will cause great problem in the world and to the Jewish people. And we see that they're doing it. They don't stop causing terrorism in the world. The word Ishmael, said the Mefarshim, actually come to hint to the Jewish people how we can weaken the strength of Ishmael. Rabotai, the Jewish people, we've been called Tolat Yaakov, the worm of Yaakov. What is the strength of the worm? Is with a mouse. The strength of the Jewish people is with our mouth. And that's how we're going to try to explain how we're going to weaken the strength of the Ishmaelim, the power of Ishmael. And I heard a beautiful shiur that brought by Rabbi Shlomo Yehuda Bari. Rabbi Shlomo Yehuda Bari Shalita is a young guy in the 30s. He is in Israel. They call him the Yanuka. Yanuka, it means the young boy. It's a nickname in Aramaic, or also in Yiddish they call it Yanuka, and it means they're given it that nickname to very few people that they're giant in Torah. And he explained that the strength, the power that Ishmael had, we can only weaken it by excessive praying. If we work on ourselves, praying, saying Tehillim, davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, learning Torah, that's how we can weaken the strength of Ishmael. And Rabotai, say the Yanuka, you have to understand that it's measure for measure. Ishmael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will listen. Ishmael, how did HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to listen to us? By that we're going to pray. But that's what we're going to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu excessively, saying Tehillim, learning Torah, instead of wasting time on whatever not necessary. If you watching, let's say, a movie, instead of watching a movie, say extra few capital of Tehillim. Why? Because that's the strength that can help us to overcome Ishmael. The Yanuka bringing a beautiful thing from the Noam Elimelech. Noam Elimelech, it's a book that's been written by Rabbi Elimelech Milizansk. Rabbi Elimelech Milizansk, born 236 years in a city of Titkin in Poland. And there, in his explanation, he brings a verse from the Sefer in a book of Bamidbar and Parashat Balak in chapter 2, verse 2. And listen what it said there in verse 2. It says, Vayere Balak et kol asher asa Israel la'amori. That means Balak saw what the Jewish people done to the nation of the Emirate. Say Rabbi Elimelech Milizansk. He says something important. He said Look at the word that it says and focus on a word, et kol asher asa Israel la'emori. Whatever the Jewish people done to the Emorite. He said, take the word Emori. Emori, it's Milshon Omer. What it mean Omer? Saying. He come to tell you that the Jewish people, their strength, it's only with speaking. That means that if we want to change the order of the sixth day of the creation, we can do it with excessive change. If we want to perform miracle, and performing miracle, it's changing the order of the creation, the sixth day of the creation. How we can do that? But excessive davening, excessive praying to the Almighty, more capital of Tehillim, davening more in Kavana, studying more Torah. This is the power, say Rabbi Elimelech Melizansk, that we can change the order of the sixth day of the creation. That means that in our hand, we can destroy Amalek without fighting. That we need the army to fight. David HaMelech have an army. Moshe Rabbeinu said to Yeshua, Bechar lecha anashim, v'tzeh lamilchama al Amalek. We have to have an army. But we also have to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to do our ishtadlut atzmit. We can't sit at home and we say that we're going to daven and HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to fight for us. We're not so tzaddikim. If we wasn't this madrega, it will be a different. But Rabotai, say Hazal to us. By that you're looking at the name Ishmael, that's already hinting to you how you can weaken his strength and his power. Ishma is listen. El. You want to weaken the strength of Amalek? HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to listen to you. How is he going to listen to you? When you're davening to him, when you're praying to him, when you're saying Tehillim, when you're learning Torah, when you're doing all of that excessively, that's how you can weaken the strength and the power of the Ishmaelites, the Amalek of today. And there is no doubt that the Amalek of today is Iran, that number one, behind all of those terrorism, behind all of that organization, that's where they are. And that's the Amalek of today. We have to understand that. But we have to understand that Hazal tell us something very important. In a Gemara Moed Katan, page 18:1, Hazal tell us, Brit Kruta Lasfatayim. What does it mean? It says like this, and it's a covenant made with the utterance of the lips. What it means, the utterance of the lip? Which covenant? Said the Mefarshim like this. We have a covenant with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that if we use our lips, we can change the creation of the world. That means we can change the sixth day of creation. We can perform miracle by davening. And if we want to weaken Ishmael, the only way to do it by praying, lifting our eyes to the Almighty, and that's going to change. Praying, Tehillim, learning Torah, Rabotai, that can change everything. And we're going to give examples soon in the shiur, what's happened and how's it work. And we have to understand one important thing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say Ishmael. His name is a beautiful name, Ishmael. But you want to weaken that nation that today they are the Amalekim of our time, because in every generation there's different Amalek. Like in the time of the Nazi regime, they was the Amalek. They hated us. In the time of the Crusaders that wanted to annihilate us, they was the Amalek of that time, in a time of Haman HaRasha, and that's what Esther Amalka said to the king Ahashverosh, Yeshno ish ehad. And she said, Haman HaRasha hazeh. What did she say, ze? She mentioned Haman. Why did she repeat and say Haman HaRasha hazeh, that wicked Haman, to tell that he is the Amalek of that generation? In every generation, we have different Amalekim, different Amalek that try to annihilate us. How do we weaken them? With the strength of power. With the strength, of the lips by excessive davening. How did we weaken Haman HaRasha? By that Mordechai told Esther, listen, fast and daven. How did we gonna weaken Amalek of today? By excessive tehillim, davening, learning Torah. That's the only way that we can weaken Amalek. That we need to army to annihilate him. But to weaken them, we have to lift up our eyes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in heaven. Rabotai, I would like to move another steps in a show to a different subject, but it's the same subject. I don't know how many of you follow what's happening in there since it was the massacre in Simchat Torah. When the massacre started, immediately also one thing stopped in Eretz Israel. It's the mahloket. The mahloket stopped it. All the parable, all the disagreement that was between different parties, between different sects in Israel stopped, and we all got united. And the moment that we got united, we saw immediately change. We saw a miracle. What was the miracle? That instead of being brutalized, attacked, we now attacking them. In matter of few hours, that the Jewish people got the unity together, HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned the table around. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to you, you have to be united. I don't have to agree with your opinion, but we need to respect each other. What was the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent them? These all different people that try to interpret. We're not prophets. Definitely not me. I'm not a prophet. My father not a prophet. But one thing we know, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to live in peace and unity. And if we as Jewish people can live one with each other in peace and unity, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us, the same like Ahab in the time of Ahab, that his army used to go to a war and never used to lose one soldier, although that there was idol worshippers. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu love unity. What it mean unity? It mean peace. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat in page 10 in a Tosfot explain that one of the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Shalom. That means if we live in peace and harmony among us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will protect us and guard us. We have to understand, to get rid of the darkness and evilness, we can do it only in unity. If we united, if the Jewish people are united, if the Jewish people are together and living in peace, in harmony together, they can get rid of a lot of darkness, a lot of evilness. The only way to win and to overcome the evil in the world is unity amongst the Jewish people. The unity, it's one of the most important things that we have to have, Rabotai. The basic love, that's what we should have, once amongst each other. That can get rid of a lot of darkness, a lot of evilness from this world. That means that the Jewish people need two things. Number one, we say that it's the strength of the lip, davening, saying Tehillim, learning Torah. But that we weakening the strength of Ishmael. What's going to help us to overcome him is the unity, to get rid of that evilness, of that darkness that they're trying to bring to the world. The third part that I think that can help us to understand is fear. You know, many people watched a lot of videos, a lot of TikTok, a lot of documentary about how those evil people that call themselves Hamas, call themselves jihadic, Islamic jihad, I call them unhuman. They're unhuman. I don't know how to even describe it. You know, they actually documented their horrific action. It's beyond understanding. And we have to understand what's hiding behind it. So if you look at it as a simple idea, I think that they've done it to show their capability, or the military capability, okay, that they can fight, okay, as a terrorist group. But I think that there is a deeper meaning to it. If they attack, they don't have to document it, all the horrific action. So why did they done it? We have to ask ourselves, what's happened in that massacre that they behave less than human being? Animal doesn't behave like this. I don't know how to describe them. I don't know how to describe those people, okay? Except that they represent evilness in a bigger scale. Another Nazis, if not worse. I think that, in my opinion, what they're trying to create, those horrible people, they try to implant fear in the Jewish people. And that's why they documented every action that they done. And not only that they documented, they actually immediately brought it up to social media for people to see. Why? To implant fear in the Jewish people, to implant in the Jewish people, to divide us. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to divide the Jewish people. They wanted the Jewish people to be divided. They wanted the Jewish people to be afraid. Why did they done it, Rabotai? We have to understand what was hiding behind it. They know that if they gonna scare us, we actually losing the one of the most important element that we have in our life, and that's emunah. When a Jewish person afraid of another human being, it means that his emunah is not full. And that's what they wanted. That's what Amalek wanted to do, done to the Jewish people in the wilderness when he attacked the Jewish people that was outside the cloud of glory. Rashi HaKadosh explained that who did he attack? He attacked those that was weak, those that didn't have any protection. Who do those Ishmaelim attacked? Who did Amalek of today attack? Civilian. That innocently was in their house, those that was in a party, whatever it was. If there was old people, if it was young people, babies, unheard of, brutal action like you never saw. Pregnant women. They tried to implant fear in the Jewish people. But Baruch Hashem, that the Jewish people didn't fall to it. Was many people that got their courage and start fighting against. And with a little soldier, if you read about the bravery of those soldiers that fought, about those little boys that jump on a grenade to save, I call him boys because he's 18, 20 years old, jump on top of the grenade to save his platoon. That's what we must look, the bravery. And Rabota, we have to understand, when we fear from another human being, that's, you have to understand the highest level of impurity, the Mekubalim say. Why? Hazal explained, when a person afraid from another man, that's allowed the evil forces to come in. Why? Because your emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu becoming weaker. You turn in the plate. Hazal say that you have to understand the avot hatumah, okay? זה הפחד. אחד מאבות הטומאה, one of the highest level of impurity is fear from another human being. And that's why they document it. That's why they immediately spread it on social media. If it was on TikTok, if it was on Facebook, whatever you want to call it. That's what they wanted to do. But Baruch Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu implanted on us those that was brave enough to fight. And immediately took the courage and fought against them. Rabotai, another thing that we have to understand, and we don't even take notice that it happened. Many of us follow the social media to see what happened in Eretz Israel. It's very important because we have brothers, we have families, we have sisters, we have parents in Israel. We care. But we have to serve what we're watching and what we're hearing, what we're seeing and what we're hearing. There's many people that speak on social media and they've become like, some of them give shorim and they become a prophet, like they sound like a prophet of anger. And instead of giving us strength and emunah and giving us the courage, they implant on us fear. So we have to understand that also when we listen to certain broadcasts, to certain sha'urim on the internet, on the news, we have to understand and to serve what we shouldn't look, what we shouldn't hear. Because those that given us all the open news publicly with no sense on it, that they're not censoring it, that's implant fear on us. Immediately, when you start to realize that it starts to affect you, about time, get rid of it. Don't watch it. Our job is to stand strong in our belief, in our emunah, in bitahon, in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabotai, for the last 3 years, I have to deal with few people that have difficulties. And some of them was behind bar. Baruch Hashem, most of them been released. And when I used to go to visit them in a jail, I used to speak to them that one thing I always say to them, remember emunah, emunah, emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only the emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu can get rid of the darkness, of the evilness. And that's what Hamas, that's what the Islamic Jihad, that's what this Amalek of this generation try to implant on us. They try to implant on us fear. Why? Because fear is the highest level of impurity that then doesn't let us focus, doesn't let us see the light on the other side. The strength is emunah and bitachon. Emunah is believing, bitachon is strength in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's so important, Rabotai, that each one of us have to be enough mature to make sure that what we're hearing or what we're seeing in social media or in a shiurim or whatever people say, to sense it, to be sense enough to sieve it, not to listen, to think that actually going to cause us has v'shalom hulsha. Hulsha is weakness. Not only hulsha, dikaon, that has v'shalom, that what we call it in English, it's people that suffering from depression. Hazal say that the only way that we can overcome it when we have bitachon and emunah b'kadosh baruch Hu. So how do we do bitachon and emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Everyone gonna say the bitachon and emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that when you're lifting your eyes to heaven and you're saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can change everything. You can perform miracle. And Rabota, if you look what's happened, how many miracles happened in that 3 weeks of since the attack, it's beyond understanding. If you listen to people that really very positive, it's unheard of. The courage, the strength. Nachon that we have casualty. More than 1,400 people been murdered, been slaughtered, been killed, been burned alive. But we are the immortal nation, Amanecha. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us, no one can annihilate us. If we remember that no one can annihilate us, we have the strength. We are the children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where is come all of this depression? Where is come all of this fear and people get to panic? That's all from Yetzer Hara. That's the job of Yetzer Hara. They try to bring the person down. How do we can work? By that we encourage each other. By that we live in unity and peace, helping each other, help one each other. That's how we can bring the moral up. And that is our job, Rabota, in those difficult times. That's what they need in Eretz Israel. You know, I sent the video that been released regarding the table that they make in kosher world with the name of the hostages, and the video that been sent to me in regarding the Nelson Mandela Bridge. I sent it to few people in Eretz Israel, and also Dr. Les mentioned earlier. About everyone that I sent it, he says, give us so much courage. Yisher koach, well done to the Jewish community of South Africa. I got so much positive that I was shocked. Rabotai, we have to understand that when we stand still with our head up and we're proud and we show that we're not afraid, it's giving our brothers, our sisters, our families in Israel, our kids in Israel, strength to fight the war. And that's how we can weaken Yamah Shemo v'zichro Amalek that come in every generation. So we have to remember not to allow depression, that Yetzer Hara himself, the fear that Yetzer Hara himself, the thing that put us underneath pressure to cause us to lose balance, that's all from Yetzer Hara. Because that's his job. He want to bring us down. Instead, we should lift up our eyes to the heaven, pray, say Tehillim, daven more Torah. That's what's going to uplift our soul, and that's what's going to lift our spirit. And that's what's going to help us to overcome and to weaken Ishmael of our generation, the Amalek of our generation, the evilness of our generation. That's the only way. There's no other way. To win the war, it's not just to fight. It's to be morally strong, mentally strong. And if we're going to be mentally strong, those that on the front line see that we're strong and we have the trust on him and we support him, they're going to be strong. Rabotai, it's difficult time that the Jewish people have now for the last 3 weeks. We don't know when the war going to end. We don't know what's going to happen in the end. We're hoping that we're going to destroy that terrorist group, whatever you want to call it, to me, the unhuman, Hamas, ISIS, Islamic Jihad, give it all the name. It doesn't make a difference. To me, they are Amalek. There's no other name to them. But we know one thing, that tomorrow morning, when you daven with 4 more kavana. When you daven Rofei Holim, have in mind all of those people that got injured. When you say in the morning, Mitir Asurim, have in mind all of those 200, over 200 people, close to 230 people that in captivity. Okay? And when you say that, give me the string in the morning, Birkot HaShahar, Ozer Israel Bigvura, think about the soldier. Focus about the soldier. Say to Akadosh Baruch Hu, giving them the courage. Given the leaders of the Jewish people a courage. Given the officers the courage. Given the soldier the courage to make the right decision. That's what we must focus, Rabotai. Excessively davening. Saying Tehillim, Rabotai, Tehillim, Tehillim. We explained last week, Sunday, what is the power of the word Mizmor. Mizmor in Milshon Mezamer. Mezamer is singing. But there is another interpretation to it. Milshon Mazmera. Mazmera, it means scissors. The scissors that with that, we are cutting the leaves. We're cutting the edges of the grass. The power of Tehillim is like a scissors that destroy all the evil forces in the world. And that's our power. Our power is in our mouths. Tola'at Yaakov. Nachon, that we have to fight. Everyone tell you, so what? We're not going to fight. No, we have to fight. But we have to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to learn more Torah. Because the Torah is our oxygen. Without it, with Torah, we can't live. The same like you take a fish. And the moment that you take him out of the sea, out of the water, he will die. Why? Because he cannot live on earth. He has to live in the sea. We cannot live as a Jew without Torah. So, if you have spare moment, another capital of Tehillim. Say another halacha, read another halacha. You can read a Mishnah, read a Mishnah. Whatever you can do extra. That's how we're going to weaken Ishmael. That's how we're going to weaken Yemach Shevon Vezichro Amalek. And we have to focus. It's not just, Rabota, we have to focus carefully. It's not just the Hamas. It's not just the Islamic Jihad. It's not ISIS only. It's the head of the snake. Who's the head of the snake? That's what we should understand. Who's the capital of terrorism at the moment? it's Iran, it's Russia, it's all of those governments that support them, Qatar, all of those people and all over the world that support Hamas. In Turkey, that they pretend are our friend, and now we see the real skin color, how Erdogan, the president of Turkey, speaking. All of those that speak against the Jewish people, they are the Ishmael of the generation. So when we daven to our brothers for the safety of our soldier, for the safety of the member of the Jewish people, to release of those people that in captivity, we have to have in mind, we have to focus and say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we putting our faith on you. But because we're not so tzaddikim, we have to have soldiers. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please protect them. Please guard them. We done our ishtadlut. How do we do our ishtadlut? Our personal effort? By davening, by praying, lifting our eyes to heaven, saying capital of healing, learning more Torah. That's how we can weaken the force of Amalek, the strength of Amalek, the power of Amalek, by that we're not afraid, by that we're united. Every kindness that the person can do with his friend, every small mitzvah of kindness, that can stand as another barrier, another protection to the Jewish people in the world. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, now that we understand that's how we can weaken the evil forces from the world, by learning Torah, by saying Tehillim, by davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by being and living in unity and peace, one with each other, loving each other, baselit love, baselit hatred, and then not to fear, not to be afraid from those that try to scare us, because fear is the worst thing that we can have. Fear is the highest levels of impurity, because then we're moving the Almighty from us. Those are the three things that we have to remember that help us to weaken the strength of Ishmael, the Amalek of our generation. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that if we lift up our eyes to the Almighty, daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Be'ezrat Hashem, will accept our prayer, will accept our reading of Tehillim, will accept our Limud Torah. The Jewish people in Eretz Israel, the soldier of Eretz Israel, the member of the security forces in Eretz Israel, the police, those that behind enemy line, those that in captivity, gonna get much more benefit if Has v'Shalom we listen to negativity, if we live with argument. It's not the time now. Whose fault is it or not? Many people say, now we have to find who was responsible. Now it's not the time. Now it's the time to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Will be a time to find who's responsible. Who's responsible, it doesn't make a difference now. Now we have a mission. Now we have a mission that our children are going to come back home. Now we have to release those that behind enemy lies in captivity. Now it's the time to destroy Amalek. Now it's the time. After that, we look at other things. That's what we have to focus now. By that we daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, extra Tehillim, excessively davening and praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to protect the Jewish people in Eretz Israel, the member of the Israeli Defense Force, the member of the security, those that behind enemy line, those that in captivity, and all the Jewish people all over the world. That's the benefit that we can get. And that's what we need now, Rabotai. All the rest is not important. You saw what they tried to do here on Shabbos. And Baruch Hashem, that the Jewish people daven, we saying capital of Tehillim. They decide to do it on Shabbos. Where did they go on Shabbos? To Beyahad. Beyahad, they can speak only to the world. And Baruch Hashem, they spoke to the world. That's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can put in their head to do it. Rabotai, tefillah, 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 tefillah. Davening, davening, davening. Tehillim, tehillim. Extra more Torah shiurim, Rabotai. That's what can help us to weaken and to bring light to the world and to get rid of the evilness and the darkness. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see the HaKadosh Baruch Hu performing miracle and salvation to the Jewish people all over the world, bring them back, those in captivity, bring them healthy back, to return our soldier, our children back to us with no harm, Be'ezrat Hashem. And Kadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy and compassion on all the Jewish people all over the world, and will send us Mashiach Titkenu speedily in our day. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. Rabotai, I would like to thank each one of you individually for joining us tonight. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Those of you that would like to speak or to comment about the show or to ask questions, Bechavod, you can open your microphone, unmute yourself, and you can ask the question. Bechavod.
Stephen.
Erev Tov, Stephen. How are you? How are you, Stephen? Erev Tov.
Erev Tov, Rav. As they say about Amalek, he wants to cool off the fear of the nations, and as a result, so when they attacked the Jews here, he's saying you see the Jews can be attacked, and as a result of what's happened is that in the colleges around the world, they're trying to attack us
all over the world. That's what he done when we left Egypt. What would he get benefit Amalek to attack the Jewish people? All he wanted to show the world, and Hazal call it lechanen et hakdera, to cool the pot. What did he get from it? What did he get?
He got hurt himself. As long as he can hurt the Jewish people, that's all he's interested in.
Exactly. He doesn't mind committing suicide.
No.
That's his job. How we can overcome it? With our lips. Tola'at Yaakov. Ma koha bepia, the same. Our strength in our mouth. Praying, saying Tehillim, daven Torah, learning Torah. That's the higher strength. You follow, Stephen?
I get it, Rav. I get it. Baruch Hashem, I do it every day.
Thank you. Any other question? Rabotai, Bechavod. Jeffrey, I heard that you wanted to say something. Bechavod, Jeffrey?
Yes, Rav, I was just waiting for other people to say something. Rav, your whole Baruch Hashem, thank you for this amazing insight, and it's very, very special that I can see your whole shir was built around Esa Eina Elaharim. May I and may I Esri from the may we lift our eyes to the heavens from where comes our help. This is amazing because that it is. And when you gave an example of the people are so encouraged when they get the strength when they hear that we are supporting the people in Israel with our tefillahs and with our actions. Not only, there's a thing I was taught years ago, treat, meaning to pray, to entreat, but move your feet. There's one thing is wishful thinking and prayer and praying up and more than wishful thinking, but you really believe your thing. But you've also, where you can take action, and by showing unity. And perhaps You know, we have an exile. And the Jews have thrived wherever they've gone. Wherever we've been destroyed in one place, there's been another place we've survived. How do we not know that Hashem has orchestrated that we should survive all this hatred in this world? Because that's our mission. Who are we? We're chosen. We're the chosen people. What for? Chosen to bring the love and light into the world, to bring love and kindness. And they hate us for it because they're not like that. The world is not like that. It's dog eat dog. That's what it is. It's the power, the might. It's like before Noah. There's the power, like whoever strong wins. That's what it is. We don't work that way.
Jeffrey, sorry to cut you. If you look what's happening, we started Sefer Bereshit. That one was the attack 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Kadosh Baruch Hu created the heaven and earth. What was before heaven and earth? Tohu vavohu, chaos. Nachon?
Yes. Yeah.
What did they try to create? Chaos. Nachon?
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, the Torah speak about what? The murder, the first murderer in the world.
Cain and Hevel. Yeah.
Cain, Nachon?
Yeah.
That's how they try to cause chaos in the world. Nachon? Chaos in the world. Then come Parashat Noah. Nachon? We read last week Parashat Noah. Not last week, the week before.
Mm-hmm.
We read Parashat Noah. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done? He given them enough time, and then he start to get rid of them. Nachon?
Yep. Yep.
In this parsha, what does it say? Lech lecha. Why it say lech lecha? Walk. Why dafka walk? On Shabbos Shiur, I explained, walking, it means progress. If we're not going to walk, we're not going to progress. How do we walk? We Jewish people, by worshiping HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Abraham start progressing. What happened after that? Similar to what's happened in the attack? Kidnapping. Who come to kidnap? Nimrod. He just changed his name.
Lost. Yeah.
Nachon?
Yeah. Nachon. Yeah.
What has he done? He kidnapped who? He kidnapped the people from Sodom, amongst them Lot.
Mm.
Do you understand? Nothing changed. En hadash tahat hashemesh. Whatever it's mentioned in the parsha, you just look what's happening in the world. That's what's happening in the parsha. Whatever the parsha speak, that's what's happening in the world. What's happening in the parsha, that's what's happening in the world. What's happening in the world, that's what's happening in the parsha that you read. And everything telling you there. Avraham Avinu, until he came, was darkness in the world. No one believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it that we're going to get united, that we're going to lift up our eyes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You think that if we was, we was wearing this kippah, or I was a Sfaradi, or I was a Ashkenazi, Hitler didn't care. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to be united. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do kindness. Why did it came flood to the world? Because they stole one from each other. They have stealing one of each other. They was robbing each other. They was taking someone else's wife. You understand? Committing covet and etc. Come HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, but I told you not to do that. Those that done it, here they are. Vatimalea aretz Hamas. The word Hamas, it means Gezel, Rashi said. Come Rabbi Avraham Even Ezra. Rabbi Avraham Even Ezra, born in the city of Toledo. Toledo is in Spain. He born 933 years ago, plus minus, okay? Don't hold me into the years. He said, what does it mean Hamas? שחומסים את הנשים, kidnapping the woman. Isn't that speaking about the Parsha? Isn't that what's speaking about what's happening in the world? And we are the light to the nation. Avraham Avinu was the light of the nation. He is the one that spread. That's why they call him Avraham Ha'ivri, שכל העולם מעבר אחד והוא מהעבר השני. He's on one side and all the world against him. But we brought the light to the nation. We are the light to the nation. Avraham Avinu never was afraid to go and fight with the four kings. We mustn't be afraid. You follow?
Yes, here's the example. Here's the example for us today. He went after them. He went after them because they took us. They took Lot. And we must do the same. That's it. That's
simple as that. Simple as that.
Bottom line. Yeah.
Bottom line. Where did HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done in a flood? He done something very interesting. He destroyed the world. What did he done with members of the Tower of Babel? He spread them all over the world.
Yeah.
Nahon?
Yep.
When HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the flood to the world, he gone under. That everything have to be sink down. Everything have to be drowned. Those that in a tunnel, they also have to be drowned.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the message. In my opinion.
Very strong one.
I hope that I explain what is our job here. Although that we're not in the front line, what is our job? Is to daven excessively to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu protect all the Jews all over the world, especially in Eretz Israel.
Yeah.
Protect the member of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. Each one of them, the member of the security forces, if it's the police, the secret agent, whatever, to protect those that have been kidnapped. That's our job here, and that's how we're going to do it, with our mouth, with our heart, with our unity, lifting eyes to the Almighty. If we lift up our eyes to the Almighty, that's how we can weaken all of these evil forces and bring light to the world, the same like Abraham Avinu done. I hope that I explained myself.
Very much. This Baruch, thank you. Thanks, Rav. What a beautiful ship.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Stephen, you want to say something?
Just one point. If you go into the later parshas, we see that when Esav saw that his parents didn't like him marrying the Knani, who did he go to? He went to Bnei Ishmael, and that's how Amalek has got involved with Bnei Ishmael.
ויקח עשיו אישה מבנות ישמעאל.
That's right.
Why did he done it? To entice. Why did he done it, Esav? To entice Yitzhak Avinu and Rivka.
How do you mean, Rav?
You understand?
To entice them, because to make them happy, because to
entice who?
Mm-hmm.
Yitzhak and Rivka. Where did Yitzhak and Rivka send Yaakov? To Lavan.
Yes.
They didn't send them to Har Seir, to Esav.
Yeah.
Why Esav? Esav is the double faces that we see today in the world.
Mm-hmm.
When it's come to the Jewish people, you're not allowed. It doesn't mean the blood is okay. But other people, when it's come to other people, has v'shalom that you're going to kill, has v'shalom that you're going to do anything, has v'shalom. But the Jewish blood is hefker, hefker.
They say we must go by the Nazis' doctrine. We must turn the other cheek. That's the problem.
That's the difference.
It doesn't have to apply to them, but for us, it must apply.
Yeah, that's exactly the difference. And that's where we are as Jewish people. We should stay together. We should
Absolutely.
give the support that we know to give. We should
1000%.
live in unity. We should live in peace and harmony one with each other. We must not going to be afraid. And the most important thing is to lift our eyes to heaven, just to lift it up to the heaven. Daven to him, say capital of Tehillim every day, as many as you can, and learn Torah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, then we see the miracle
Absolutely.
speedily nowadays.
Amen.
Amen,
Amen.
amen, amen.
Amen.
Rabotai, if there is no more question, I would like first of all to thank you all for joining the shiur. The next shiur in Parashat HaShavua are going to be on Thursday night, Be'ezrat Hashem, Bli Neder, Be'ezrat Hashem. In the meantime, I would like to thank you all for joining the shiur, number one. Number two, I would like to wish you personally a beautiful week ahead. Look after yourself. Enjoy the week. Keep healthy. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should hear only miracle. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon.
Amen. Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai v'Kayam. Not only that he Chai,
V'Kayam. Eternally.
Kayam.
Eternally.
Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining.
Thank
All the best. Good night.